Hello and welcome to the Senior Tuber Incentive. This is a podcast where mature creators get to start or grow their YouTube channel. I'm Fran Asaro and I am the founder and a senior tuber myself. So if you're interested in learning the ins and outs, being a part of a community, or seeing if it's even something that you're interested in, I'm glad that you're here, and take a look at some of the things that we offer and see if it feels right. If you're listening to this podcast, because we are syndicated, then if you want to see any of the visuals that I might be talking about, just go to my YouTube channel. You could type in yt.seniortuber.com if you want to get to me there. And today we're going to continue our conversation about optimizing your channel. But before we do, I just want to let you know, sometimes we're talking a lot here and we're not getting succinct information. And I'm realizing that a lot of people, they need to, or you need to know all the basics for optimization. And I'm well aware of that. And I'm trying to offer some solution to that. And so what I'm thinking about is I may have some sort of a book coming out with it or an ebook, but I also want to do a regular webinar kind of thing where anybody who wants to find out about it, that I'll have this ongoing webinar that they could jump into. I don't have all the details yet, but if you stick around, sign up for something so you get emailed, or subscribe here so you get notified. When we're ready to start, I will want you to know about it, and you'll probably want to know about it too. Like I said, it's going to be called optimization and get you started with the basics. And I realize that there's so many levels of learning here. There's from the very beginning when you don't even have a channel yet or an idea, and then some who are already in the creator mode and they just want to optimize their channel. And then we have those who want to monetize their channel. I want to help everybody at every stage, because that's really what I'm about, in helping you and how to create better videos. And this is supposed to be fun, but I also want you to have fun with the right tools. And like I said, if you just want to stick around to find out, just check any of the descriptions on the podcasts, or if you're on a mailing list, I'll send it out to you and you can find out where to get that class. Today, we're going to continue that conversation. As I said, last week we talked about a couple of the channel optimizations where you can optimize your intro and your outro video. That's not what it's called. That's just what I call it. The video that you set up for when people are there for the first time, and the video that you set up for people who have subscribed, and then when they return, what they will see, the video that they will see. And also about just getting a couple of things in the background taken care of. And you could take a look at last week's podcast if you want to find out more about that. We also talked about a couple of the optimization tips for videos, because as I said, there are two types of optimizations, one for your channel and one for your videos. The channel one is it stays the same. So this way people can find you. It's got an about me and it's got tags and it's a way for people to find you even if they haven't found your video. But when you bring a video into it and if you upload a video, you want to make sure people find that particular video. So there's optimization for that too. And I keep mentioning this, it sounds overwhelming, but I promise you that once you learn this, it's going to be second nature to you, and it won't take too long to learn. At first, it's going to seem like a new language, and then you'll start recognizing a couple of the words that we're using here, some of the jargon, and eventually you're going to start noticing when other people aren't doing it. And then you may start doing it yourself. So just go easy on yourself at whatever pace you're at, whatever level you're at. Just keep learning at the pace you're ready to learn. Okay. And let's see. Last week we talked about the optimizing your title and your thumbnail. Really important. Today we're going to talk about optimizing your description. Your description is what goes under what you'll see under your video. When you see anybody's video, if you want to go in there because they talk about links, click the link in the description or get the information in the description. That's your description of your video. Some people don't put anything in there, and some people really know how to maximize that space. You can hold up to 5,000 characters in that description. And that's one of the places where you will want to use all of the characters that you're allowed. as we mentioned last week, in your title, you're allowed, I think, 100 or over 100 characters, but you don't want to use more than 70 because then it will get truncated and people will not be able to see what comes up after the 70 characters. So same thing with the description in reverse. You can use all 5,000 characters. What you want to know about your description is what step do you want your people to take next? And so there's a place in the description where you get to put your first two or three lines, and those first 2 or 3 lines should be your call to action. What do you want them to do next? Do you want them to see a certain video? Do you want them to check out one of your products? Do you want them to subscribe? Do you want them to ask questions? Do you want to promote engagement? That should be in the very first part of your description. Why? Because the description has a show more link. And if they come in to watch your video and they choose not to hit the show more link, you want them to see whatever's there, even if they don't click it. All right. Now, another thing you want to keep in your description is your title of your video. This is for SEO purposes, the title of your video. So if it says how to learn to golf, then inside the description, you also want to put how to learn to golf. And that should be way up at the top as well, right after your call to action. And then if you want to, you can talk about what the video is about underneath that, or just put that in there. It's funny because I had one of my senior tuber creators, we were working together this week, and I actually played a game with her because she had a 35 SEO score, something you and I will talk about. We're not there yet, but if you do have TubeBuddy, that's where you can find out your SEO score because it does provide that information. And I'll put the link to TubeBuddy in the description. It's one of my favorite tools, and I am an affiliate for them. And I think it's a great tool for you to use to find out your SEO, to find out whatever you're not doing and you should be doing, especially in the optimization/best practices field, right? So she's got a 35 SEO score. And I said, okay, let's try a couple of things to see how quickly we could raise it. And we could see the results immediately. So I said she had no title in the description, and she didn't take her title and put it in the tags. And so I asked her to do that and a couple of other things. And again, I don't want to overwhelm you with what I asked her, but just a couple of things. And then I asked her to go back and check her SEO score, and it went from 35 to 80 in just a couple of seconds. So some of the things that you might not think are important may be the thing that takes you over the edge, so that when YouTube sees that you are playing by the rules, they're going to show your videos more, and you want people to see your videos more. Now, in that description, you're going to put, like I said, your call to action, the title of the video, and anything you want to say underneath it. These are the beginning tips for any new golfer or something like that. Once you do that, then you might want to put down any of it doesn't have to be in this order after that, but you might want to put down any of the links that you said you would talk about in the description, but you want to label them. Don't just put the link there. So if I say TubeBuddy, you're going to see TubeBuddy, then the link, or I might be putting in TubeBuddy, my favorite YouTube optimization tool, and then the link, so that they know when they go down there what they're looking for. Nobody's going to click on a link that they don't know what it is. So please make sure that you have the title of that link ahead of it. And then you want to put down anything about yourself that people would want to know. Maybe a little bit more that you couldn't fit in your About Me page, or where you want to send them to learn more about you. And also you want to put your tags some tags inside your description. You have a place to put tags, but you can only go up to 500 characters. And boy, those characters run out fast. Let me tell you, once I teach you some of the things about tagging, you'll know sometimes you only have 10 tags in there for that 500 characters. Any tags that you want to duplicate and put it in there with a hashtag, or separate them by commas, put that in there as well. Also, if you have any attributions, if you have any music you need to thank somebody for or tell people about, then you want to put that there as well. Use as many of those characters as possible. If you have anybody that you discussed in your video, whether you had a guest speaker, if you have somebody you spoke about, in general, you might want to also put them in there. It's always good to cross promote. So if you've talked about another YouTube channel, then put it in there. Let people see that you are playing nice and sharing other people's videos. All right. So that's kind of it for right now. I'm sure we'll think of some other things. Yep. I just thought of a thing. Didn't take me long to think. Anyway, chapters. Chapters are one of the best practices that you'll want to learn. If you have a video that's more than a couple of minutes long, you'll want to put chapters in there because that's part of how the SEO works. If you don't have chapters in there and you have TubeBuddy, rest assured they're going to say, you didn't put any chapters in. You'll have a little X next to your list of best practices and what you've done and what you haven't done. There's a way to do it. TubeBuddy has a very easy chapter creating tool, which makes it so much easier than the way I used to do it without it. And what you do is you just start out saying this is the introduction, and then you put down when you started talking about one particular topic and then another particular topic. And you could have a minimum of 3 chapters. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I recommend if you have a lot of information in there, people are going to see that chapter and they're going to click. If they want to come back to your video, they'll say, where's that part where they discuss this? And it'll be listed in the chapter. That's going to help you. People will want to see that. That's another thing that you will want to put in your description. But remember, it's also an SEO tool. It's not just a gift that you're giving them, which it is, but it's something that would help boost your exposure. Okay. Then we're going to talk about playlists. You're going to want to, first of all, there's a couple of playlists. There's playlists that you might create that are personal. And those playlists might be, let's say it's music or some sort of hobby of yours, and you collect playlists on health and wellness or fitness or traveling. Those playlists, you have to decide whether you want to keep them public or private. I keep all of my personal playlists private because when they get to your channel, if you go to the channel tab on your channel, they're going to see all of those public playlists. So I just take mine out. I actually have my channel tab for all of my Senior Tuber Creator Club members. And this way you want to go there and see who they are. You just go in there and click on them and support their channel. But be mindful, if you don't want people to know all of your playlists, then go in there and make them private. Now, your regular playlist for your YouTube channel, hopefully you'll want that public, but there are a couple of ways. One is to make it private if your playlist is for a paid product. So I used to have a class for time management, which is now public, but I used to have people pay for that. And all they had to do was get the link of an unlisted playlist. And this way, if they had the link, they could see all the videos in there, but nobody else could. So you can use it for creating products and for either charging people or making a giveaway for somebody, freebie kind of thing. So you can have an unlisted playlist for that reason. If it's private, nobody's going to have access to it. The other way is to have a public playlist. And a public playlist is when people will be able to find a common ground series of videos that you have all in one place. And so for me, it might be like that time management thing. It might be all the Senior Tuber tips. It might be the podcast, something like that. You'll have a series of things that you can put into playlists. So when you're uploading a video, once you have the playlist created, then you're going to select the playlist that you want to attach it to. And guess what? You could attach it to as many playlists as you want. So if you have one that's about tips and tools, but it's also a podcast, you can put both of those as that video belongs to. Okay, so that's a really good thing. Now, here's a tip about that playlist. Sometimes I feel like I really confuse people with this, but I want you to try this out. I want you to go and pull up one of your videos, if you have one. And when you pull it up live, I want you to look at the URL, right, that you would normally share that playlist with. If you want, even paste it onto a blank sheet of paper so you can see how it differs from what I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you about 3 different links. One is called the video link. the one that belongs to your video. Then if you go into your playlist section and you want to share your entire playlist, then there's a link to the entire playlist. And I want you to go and check that out. Go and take that list, the link to that list, and put it in a search bar and go look at what that looks like. Then while you're viewing that playlist, you'll see in the right-hand column a list of all the other videos on that playlist. I want you to click on one of those videos, preferably the one that you're about to share. I want you to see the link to that video and take a look at it from the very first link I told you about, and that is the playlist video link, okay? So what's different? The one about the video you just uploaded, that's just plain and simple. You can send it everywhere, but that's when they pull it up in YouTube, the only thing they're going to see is your video, and on the right-hand column, they're going to see any video that YouTube wants them to see. You'll have no control over that. And if you're going to send the playlist link, when they play it, they're going to go into your playlist platform and they'll have a list of all your videos. And if they click on those videos, then all those videos will show up on the right-hand column instead of some random video that you don't even want your people to see. The third way is when you have your playlist video link. That is so that, well, let's just say if you're going to have a playlist and you're going to share the playlist link, then they're going to see the videos in the order that you have them. And if you want them to see the 10th video on that playlist, you would share that video link from that playlist. I know it sounds confusing, but once you get this, it's going to be so important. So if you're able to share the playlist video link, now they're going to see the video you want them to see, plus they're going to see all the other videos in that playlist on the right-hand side. That is so valuable for a couple of reasons. Your people are going to keep staying on your channel, right? And they're going to give you watch hours, because if you're trying to become a YouTube partner, you're going to need 4,000 watch hours a year. And if somebody has access to your playlist and those keep rolling over, that's the other reason, is that they keep rolling over. So if somebody's listening to your videos, they fall asleep or they go into another room, at the end of one video, it's just going to start the next one from that playlist. Isn't that cool? It's just going to automatically play it, whether they knew it or not. So this is really helpful if you want to keep your people engaged in what you have to offer. Not only are they going to see what you wanted them to see, they're going to see what else is coming up. They could even switch over right in the middle of it and say, oh, I want that one instead, because now they'll have a list. It's like promoting all your other videos in your playlist. I want you to do me a favor. If you're confused, put it down in the comments. I want to know if it's confusing you, because I'll get better at explaining it to you. And that might be on me, or it is on me. Or if you understood it and you tried it, and let me know what you thought about that, okay? I don't want to go into too much training each time because I know it's a lot. So let's leave it at the description and the playlist. And we already discussed, because it came up, the chapters, right? But I have one more thing I want to share with you. I want to share that I want you to search yourself on YouTube, okay? Search your name and then search your channel name. If you've been putting out videos, I did this a couple of months ago, so I'm going to let you know what happened. I searched Fran Asaro and I saw videos of mine from another channel that I have that I didn't want anybody to see. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it was just from 2009. It was my first YouTube channel. And so that's what came up, and there was nothing about what I do today. And so that's not what I wanted people to see. And I'll tell you how to fix that in just a second. Then I looked up Senior Tuber. I could see some of my videos, but I did not see my channel come scrolling through. And you want to see your channel because you want people to know to click on it, and they'll get to see all of your videos and they get to subscribe. So if you're not showing up as your YouTube channel name or your name, then what I recommend you do is going into your settings and changing your tags. I think we discussed this last week, but if not, we will discuss it. But change your tags to include your channel name and your name. And it won't change right away. Sometimes it could take a couple of weeks before it changes. I actually had to go into that YouTube channel from 2009, and I didn't delete it because I liked having a channel from 2009, but I just put it in a dormant stage. I just made it invisible. And within a couple of weeks, I now get to pull up Fran Asaro and see Senior Tuber community pop up, or I can pull up Senior Tuber and see the Senior Tuber community pop up. Now, that I'm talking about the channel, you'll get to see that round thing. That's a channel. If it's square, it's videos. But if it's round, it's the channel that they could click on and join. So are you willing to do that? That's kind of like your momentum to keep things going, your homework assignment for the week if you want to take it. And it's kind of interesting because if you're not there, it's okay. I wasn't there, and I've been a YouTube creator for years and years and years. And I just never thought to even check on it. I just thought for sure I was there. And I was there as videos. I wasn't there as a channel choice. And now I want to be there as a channel choice. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about is, we talk about it a lot that some people are hesitant what to do. They like their idea, and then some days they wake up and they think it's a lousy idea. I love Senior Tuber. I love doing it. I love talking about it. I love making videos about it. And I still wake up sometimes saying, can I do this? Am I capable of doing it? It's normal. What I'm asking you to do every time that happens is to say, yes, I'm going forward. Keep showing me what's next. Just whoever you talk to, all right? And just say yes to moving forward, yes to more, yes to growing it, yes to being exposed to the world. Just keep saying yes. So just so you know, about a year ago, I was just coming off of a hibernation period where I just didn't want to be in the public eye anymore. I've been, with doing groups and get-togethers and events for a long time. And I didn't want to do it anymore. And so when I thought about the Senior Tuber as an idea for a channel, my first thing was, I don't want to be out in front anymore. I liked hiding in the back, working with all my clients and helping them be successful and pushing them out in front of the world. But I was hiding behind them, helping them, right? But it's really hard to start something like the Senior Tuber and not being the face of Senior Tuber. And I had to keep saying yes. And every time I said, yes, okay, I will do it. Okay, I'll do a podcast. Okay, I'll have a membership. Okay, I'll start having classes. It was not what I planned. I wanted to see how I could do it hiding. And you can. You could be a faceless channel, and you could be hiding behind your channel just like I was doing. But some channels are going to want to meet you. If you're the reason that this channel exists, some people want to know you. They want to support you, and they want you to support them, and they want a face and a voice to that. And if that's you, then yes, you may have some hesitation. And I'm here to say, keep saying yes and letting the solution to whatever's stopping you reveal itself. Are you willing to do that? So just so you know, I may be asking you one day to support me in that, but that's where I got this week. So hopefully it'll help you. What I'd like to do is invite you back for our next podcast for more optimization tips and tools and some support, motivation. I know I need it. And sometimes if I don't find somebody who motivates me, just being here to talk to you helps motivate me. What I'd like to recommend is stay in touch by communicating somehow. Join the Senior Tuber community on Facebook. The link will be in the description. Or communicate in the comments section so I know you're there. I know what you're challenged by, and I can help you. Ask your questions. Let me know what you like about this podcast, what you would like to have in the podcast. Share your own video. Share your own video or YouTube channel in the comments. I'd just like to know that you're there, and I would like to support you any way I can. And what I'm going to ask of you is to start tagging your channel, hashtag or just Senior Tuber, or senior tuber with no space in it, so that we can go as a united front to find senior tubers throughout the world. By pulling up senior tuber or hashtag senior tuber, we'll be able to find other people just like us and support them. Are you willing to do that? Anyway, I'm Fran Asaro, and I am so excited to be here and honored to be able to support you in growing your channel. I'd like to say this to you before we go. You have something inside you that you can share with the world that's going to make a difference for somebody, maybe many people. Please don't leave this world with something inside you that's unspoken. Go out and be creative today. Okay? Thank you.